You've all heard about the great kitchen debate. That actually started not in the kitchen of the model home, but in the glass box, in a television studio there. And there, Khrushchev and Nixon went at it.
Vice President Nixon escorts Soviet Premier Khrushchev on a preview of the United States Fair at Skolnicky Park in Moscow. It's the official opening of the American Exposition, counterpart of the Soviet trade show in New York, and dedicated to showcasing the high standard of life in our country. But on this occasion, traditional diplomacy goes by the board, and the story of the fair itself is eclipsed by a crackling exchange between Nixon and Khrushchev. Every aspect of the Cold War and Soviet-American rivalry is argued in blunt and forthright terms. The threat of atomic warfare, diplomacy by ultimatum, economic progress.
There are some instances where you may be ahead of us. For example, in the development of the thrust of your rockets for the investigation of outer space. There may be some instances, for example, color television, where we're ahead of you. But in order for both of us to benefit, you see, you never concede anything.
They'd stirred each other up enough so that when they left the TV studio to see more things, they then were led to the model home. They entered the home. I suddenly saw them stop in front of the kitchen. And again, it started. And I think Khrushchev said, "You can't tell me that the average American can afford this place. It looks very expensive. A lot of Americans can afford it." There were answers like that, back and forth. Both sides being tough or gentle when they had to. There was a remarkable expression of support for what we were doing among younger people. The way we got it in restaurants. People would come up to us and would say, "Are you connected with the American exhibition in Skolnicky Park?" I said, yeah. First class. You would get things like that. Very stirring. The fashion show, for example, attracted thousands. We showed all kinds of clothes. There was the latest American, the latest. And women were, it's packed mostly with women, in tears continually. They were very moved by this. They're watching, I think they were hallucinating. They were fantasizing with this group of young Americans. One of our major areas was the architecture show. Peter Blake, the architect, editor of the Architectural Forum, did an astounding job of pulling together a whole vision of what architecture was in the United States at 59. Shops, stores, office buildings, homes, plazas, every conceivable kind of building, skyscrapers, small houses. Housing was important. Several Soviets frequently shared the same apartment. So housing was a killer. And here they were seeing America exploding all over the place. The art show, which was a very provocative show, put together by Edith Halpert of New York. She was given full authority to pick whatever paintings she felt were appropriate. We did not look over her shoulder, because we felt that was not the way to do it. The less government interference, the better. Let a gallery owner or gallery person pick what they considered cutting-edge art. So we had de Kooning, we had Pollock, we had a whole variety who were representing every conceivable spectrum of what was going on. And in 59, a lot was going on. And of course, it was very explosive. We knew going in that Soviet citizens would be upset by some of the abstract paintings. But not only were some Soviets appalled by it, and not too many were, as a matter of fact. I think there were more Americans who were upset by what we did. Americans in the Congress, there were comments made from the White House. Why were we showing this stuff? We never took anything out. At least it said this to Soviet citizens: we paint what we want. Nobody dictates to us. And my stuff was torn apart in the Soviet press. Look at this trash. As we told you, it's trash. Soviets had heard a lot of this before. Before they were going to believe that, they would think twice. So there was a phenomenal impact of the art show. we saw Soviets dragged out by KGB. I'd say at least maybe once a day. 2 guys dragging them out. These people try to steal things, they said. We're just protecting your exhibit. We didn't buy that for a minute. They might have been maybe taking pictures of it, you know, saying something about, the place was mined with KGB people. Soviets did behave in naughty ways that we didn't like, but they knew the show was there. The only good thing about it, it would end, as far as they were concerned. It had a finite length, and I think they were very relieved when it ended, and it was, the torture was over.